Maine. I am your host, Courtney, and I'm so happy that you guys are here with me today. I am joined by Hilary Young. Hilary, how are you?
I'm so good. It's early, but I'm here.
It is. It's early. I was just saying how I woke up early. I had breakfast. I got ready, but I still sound so groggy. I was like chugging coffee. I was like doing little like singing exercises in the car because I was like, it sounds like I just rolled out of bed. But I didn't. I still had a productive morning. Hilary, tell me who it is that you work for and what it is that you do.
So I work for Georgia Roof Advisors. It's a roofing company based out of Marietta, and I am the marketing coordinator. Awesome.
And so you went to the University of
Alabama. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I love it. And so you were originally from Philadelphia, right?
No, I'm originally from Mobile, Alabama.
And then you moved to Philadelphia for your...
after... when I graduated, I got a job with the Philadelphia 76ers right out of college.
Awesome.
Had never been to Philly.
Really?
The goal had always been for me to move to the Northeast, and I always thought that meant New York City.
Okay.
So when the Sixers came a-calling, I was like, okay, I'll go. I'll bite. And so I went up there, started my career off in sales, and loved the city.
What about
was
the Northeast?
amazing.
What was the draw to the Northeast?
To be completely honest, it was a very, I guess you could say, childish thing. I always thought that I was too polite for the South.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, not polite enough for the South. I was like, I was made for this. Like, I am the person hogging people down. Like, move out of the way.
Get out of my way.
That was just me. And I mean, I'm a nice person. Don't get me wrong, but I just...
You were like, get me where the hustle and bustle is.
Yeah, and Mobile is, a retirement city. And it's like, just, it's not a small city, or it is a small city. It's not a small town.
Yeah.
But I knew that it wasn't where I wanted to be long term at all.
It's so funny. So we had this conversation earlier. Mobile, I always say mobile.
Yeah, it's Mobile.
So I've said this before on my podcast. The biggest misconception is I tell people I'm from Illinois, and they automatically assume that I'm from Chicago.
100%.
And I get offended, and I try not to, but I bet it's the same thing with the mispronunciation of your hometown.
100%. But I get it. I mean, when you're looking at it on a map or you just see it, you're like, oh, that's probably some bodunk small town. Nobody passes by. One light. People say that all the time.
Do you have something? I always ask people this when they're from places that I haven't been to. Do you have something in your hometown that you can't find anywhere else? Like a certain mom and pop restaurant or like a gas station or something specific?
I mean, Mardi Gras was made there.
Oh, okay.
People always get that misconception that
I did not
it was
know
in
that.
New Orleans. That it started in New Orleans, but it actually started in Mobile.
Fun fact.
And every time I go home, I have to have Fusackless chicken fingers. So
yes,
that's
awesome.
That's about it. Yeah,
no, that's cool. That's a good trivia fact. I do trivia every week, and so I'm always asking people like, "Hey, what's your random fun fact?" Like that might come up. One time. That's super cool. Okay, so you graduated in what year?
2015.
And you majored in
marketing.
So after you graduated, then you made your way up Northeast.
Yes.
Okay.
I had gotten the job, I think around like March or April. I had been interviewing, got the job, finalized all my paperwork like a week before graduation, and graduation was on like May 2nd or May 3rd or something like that. And I packed all my stuff up in my apartment, went home for 2 weeks, got my life together, and then packed up my little Kia Forte and made the 16-hour trip to Philadelphia.
So you drove. Oh my goodness. Packed up your car. So it was fast, quick, a lot of action.
It was definitely a quick turnaround because I had never been to Philadelphia before in my life.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. One of the sales managers had put me together with some other people that lived in a house, and so that's how I ended up moving so fast. And it was just quick.
I commend your like drive to do that because that's not easy. Not knowing anybody, not really like having even been there.
Right.
And so, what did you like? Did you like it there? Like, did you enjoy your time?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Really?
I love everything about that city.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I tell people all the time that I would, if I could go back, I would. But my mom is like, don't you feel like you're chasing something if you go back? Like, what if it's not the same?
Yep.
And she like put that idea in my head, and I'm like,
you're like, dang
okay,
it.
maybe you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I just, everything about it, the hustle and bustle. And I ended up being able to visit New York a lot more because it's just a train ride or like the bus.
Yeah.
It's such a short, like 2-hour ride. And New York is amazing, but once I got to Philly and I knew that I was living in this city and like it felt like nobody could take that away from me.
Absolutely.
Like this girl from Alabama, like you could never tell me that I couldn't make it in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I love that. I'm from a super small town and even just being down here in Atlanta, it's so intimidating to begin with. And everybody back home is just like, what are you doing? And I was like, watch me thrive.
100%. That is exactly how that goes.
So tell me a little bit more about what you did for the 76ers.
So I started off in sales. Like that's what I was doing while I was there. And sales is hard. And I'm going to tell you this, working for, I don't know if anybody has ever heard about Philadelphia fans, but they are something serious.
They sure are.
And my first season was the 18-win season, and we couldn't give away tickets. Like nobody wanted to come to a Sixers game.
Yeah.
We had to sell them on other people coming, like LeBron James and Stephen Curry. Like nobody wanted to come to a game.
That is too funny. That's interesting because I've always wanted to work for a sports team. I think that sales mentality is so different because it's almost like it's easy. You would think like, who doesn't want to come, to a professional sports game? But but it's like, well, no, if your team's not doing that hot.
And people would literally I'd be like, hey, this is Hilary calling with the Philadelphia 76ers, and they would laugh before hanging up in my face because it was a joke. And now it's crazy to see that. So my last season there was when we drafted Ben Simmons, and now look at them, like sold out. Well, pandemic, but they sold out, and it's insane to see. Like when I'm talking to some of my friends that still work for them, or I might see a game and it's like packed out. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah. So it was like my life there was great. Just the sales part was something that I knew going into it that I wasn't a very salesy person. I'm very extroverted. I'm very, loud, outspoken. Like I'll say what I want to say, but the sales part really scared me.
It is. It takes a certain kind of person. Yeah. Especially when when it's not such an easy sell. You kind of have to have that second, voice in your head saying like, no, keep pushing, and this is how you maneuver this person or whatnot. Okay, so tell me then how you came down to Atlanta. What's the story there?
Like I said, it wasn't working out with sales, and I knew deep down in my heart that I couldn't keep going. I had to start looking for a job, and I may have made the decision for love at the time.
Yay! No,
it didn't really work out.
Oh, so never mind. I take it back. No. Well, okay. At least you can be honest about it.
My boyfriend at the time was like, let's either do Nashville or here. And I was like, I know not one person in Nashville. I'm not moving to Nashville.
Yeah.
But I had a ton of my best friends, like my best friend from high school. He lives here with his husband, and it was just the perfect storm for me.
It made sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So once again, I packed up my Kia Forte and moved down here. And me and my boyfriend were living together for 6 months or so, and then it just it just was not well. So
cut that boy off.
Right. I ended it and ended up moving in with my best friend, and God bless him and his husband, because I know I'm a handful. And at the time, I moved down here without a job.
Okay.
I didn't have a job at all. I ended up nannying so I moved down here June 2017. I nannied from August until I got my job with Life Marketing in January 2018. And I still nannied through that job, which was tough, but I did it.
It's scary not having, not knowing where that next solid paycheck is coming from.
Right. And the one reason I didn't just take a job, like I could have taken a sales job, I could have taken like a account manager or staffing or whatever, but I said, if I want to do this career in marketing, there's no way I can settle. There's no way.
You deep down know your worth and you know what you want, and I love when people see that and they like will not just settle for anything. So that's awesome. Like I was saying earlier, I had Vanessa, who works here at Liger, come on, and she said the same thing. She was like, I said no to so many jobs because she's like, I knew there was something better out there.
Right.
And I did the same thing coming down here. I did not have a job. And I was just like, fingers crossed. Like,
100%,
may God be on my side. Because I was just like, it's easier to apply for jobs too when you're actually in the location.
Right. A lot of people don't want to take that chance on you when you're, they may think that you're going to ask for relocation or whatever. I'm like, no, I'll come. Just like, so that was also a part of the reason why I not jumped the gun, but I left Philly a little bit earlier than, I really could have, I guess you could say. Because my boyfriend had not found us an apartment yet. So it was just like, oh my gosh, we're like scrambling and
You're like, come on, get your stuff together,
like,
man.
let's do this.
I get it. That's too funny. Okay, so what is it about marketing that you like? Like, what made you want to do, like, you knew you didn't want to do sales. So, like, what drew you to marketing?
Well, even in college, like, I remember taking my first class, which was Marketing 300, and I literally was,
you saying that, I just, like, tensed up. I was like, oh, God, don't take me back to college days.
And just, it's like a science of trying to figure out what someone wants. Like, that was the most interesting thing to me.
I love
like,
that.
Trying to comprehend what a person, when you have like emotional things attached to every buy, or you have buyer's remorse, or somebody is like, not even sure if they want to jump the gun or buy, like, it was always interesting to me. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to be doing. I want to try to figure out what it is that someone wants to buy.
You want to get in front of them. You want to know what they want before they even know they want it.
100%.
I love that. It's a fun game to play. So what is it? What's your your favorite part? Do you like digital marketing? Are you more into social media? Do you like print, radio? What's your expertise?
I absolutely love email marketing.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't even know that I liked it until my job with Engel and Volkers, and I started like creating like the emails and like doing things for the agents, and I was like, I like this, like, and we would get like the reports back on like who would open up an email and who didn't open up an email, and you're looking like, okay, why didn't you open it up, 123A at Gmail, like, what's the reason behind it? So it was really interesting. Email marketing, I started to see that I really, really loved. I would say next up would probably be print.
Okay.
I taught myself everything I know about Adobe.
Really?
I had a few friends that were graphic designers like help me figure out how to toggle something.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, I took these like 8-week classes.
Oh, wow.
And just learned it on my own.
I love that you say those two, because I feel like everyone jumps at social media because it's, the most known.
Yeah.
And social media, honestly, like, that's where I've done a lot of work. And so it's easy. But email marketing I love that you said that, because I really don't know a lot about email marketing.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Like, and it's so much to try to figure out what someone would want to be interested, because if that subject line isn't right, even if somebody opens it up, if that first picture is not right, you got to, and then the loading size, if it's not small enough to capture their attention, it's so much that goes into it.
There are so many trial and errors. And
exactly. And I mean, the same could be said for social media. Social media is not at the top of my list.
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
It's a part of marketing.
Yeah.
So, and I've learned so much about it, because that was my first job at Life. I was a social media specialist.
Yeah.
So I was copywriting and coming up with like different, things that might work for a lawyer or a restaurant.
Absolutely.
Or,
I got an email the other day. I don't know. Isaac, am I allowed to curse? Like, okay. So it said, it was like, are you shitting me? And it caught my attention.
Yeah.
Have no idea. I don't know who it was from or what, but I was like, wow, what a captivating, daring email subject.
Those are the things, like, you know that when you send those type of emails, people are going to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Even the people that are like, okay, that's too much, they're interested. And then the people are like you said, that are daring, they want to open it up.
Like okay.
It's definitely a game that you play trying to figure out 4 words or something like that.
Well, and it's interesting too, being in marketing, because it's almost like I saw it and I was like, okay, you know, I commend your marketing effort. Like, I get it. So I clicked on it. I was like, I'll boost your open rate. Like, I got you.
Yeah.
But okay, so the one that I don't like, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this, is when they put the like RE at the so because it comes, I'm like, see it, I'm like, oh wait, I don't recognize this, and then I'm like, no, you just fooled me.
Like, that's a fooling one. I personally don't like it, and I don't use it because of that. But I see why people do it.
I do.
It gets people thinking, wait, was I on an email chain about this subject?
Like, so it did it. It makes me take a second look, but then I'm almost like, I don't trust you. Like, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really think that a marketing person should spend a day in a salesperson's shoes and vice versa.
Yeah.
So if you had to switch and you had to go back to sales, what industry would you choose?
Oh man, I don't want to say the easy answer.
It's okay. No wrong answers.
So and obviously I guess you know this because I went to the University of Alabama. I'm a huge football fan. So if I could go back into sports and do football, I can talk football all day.
Okay.
NFL, college. I can. If you want to talk arena, let's talk it. Like, I absolutely love football. Like, it is a beautiful, angry sport.
Yes.
But if I could go back, and I mean, there's an easy factor to that, because even teams like, who was the second, a couple years ago, the Cleveland Browns, they were sold out. It's interesting because who wants to go to a Cleveland Browns game? But people want to go to football games.
Exactly.
Because football's so big.
It is. And it's such a supply and demand almost, because it's like you don't really have many opportunities to go to a football game versus like baseball, they play like 160 games a year.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I like that because, like I said, sports, it's easy to sell. It can be. And that's where your passion's from. What's your favorite thing then to market?
Oh man.
Like I did social media for this like local like makeup brand a few years ago, and they'd send me like the product.
Oh yeah.
And I'd get to play around with it and then like help them like make like social posts and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I love makeup, so marketing makeup was super easy for me. But yeah, I'm curious as to like what's your favorite.
So it would have to be real estate, which I did for a year and a half.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
So when I was not working, like I had an interview set up with England Vocals Atlanta before I had lost my job with Life.
Okay.
Because they were downsizing. So when I, walked in there, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way these people are going to hire me. Like, what is this? And so when I got the job and I started like creating more and more, and then when I first got on, I was kind of like a do-it-all. I was helping with developer services, which is those communities that were built up like by developers. And then you had the agent side, which was, one agent may have a home they need marketed, or if they're just trying to sell themselves. And I love that I love the agent side because I'm such an extrovert and I do love talking to people. And I would start, looking at these houses and doing them more and more, and like really knowing, okay, that angle of a photo is not okay. And like start staging photos. Like, it's so much that goes into it. I really, really liked doing that a lot.
That's awesome.
So I would definitely say real estate.
So when you send out an email campaign, and let's say you are so confident in it and you're like, this one is killer. Like, watch out. And then you get the results back and you're not seeing what you expected.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important to listen to the customer, like the person that's giving you these statistics, or listen to your experience and your confidence of knowing it was a good email?
It's so funny that you say that because I started up the email marketing like at Georgia Roof Advisors.
Okay.
And my very first email, it was, I thought it was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
There was nothing you could have told me. I even sent it to my boss and she was like, this looks great. Let's send it out. So I, sent it out and we got 6% open rate and we sent it to like 1,200 people. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is not, like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I looked at the people that opened it and then I realized that it's really hard because you mentioned the confidence thing, but like you have to think there's nothing about roofing that is sexy. Yeah. Nobody cares about their roof until it's time to get it fixed. And once it's fixed, you're not even thinking about it at all. So it's definitely like, I've learned now it was easier to get people to open up a real estate email even if they weren't looking, because who doesn't want to look at a pretty house? Right. Or the interior and the exterior and just see everything. But with roofing, all I could really play with was the exterior. Yeah. So it's been a fun game of trying to find what works and what doesn't. I'm trying to tell myself, hey, like, you got this, like, it's gonna be fine because you're awesome. You're awesome. But I'm telling you, roofing is hard, and I'm actually at a crossroads where I'm like, should I start mentioning other things like Netflix shows or like your top picks for that or your favorite recipes or anything, tying it, to doing get something people to get more interested, but I haven't really made that jump because I don't like that. Like when people are marketing or talking about something that has nothing to do with what they're selling. I've never been a fan of that. Yeah. And maybe that's something that I should look into.
We'll grab Vanessa on our way out because she does some really good ones. That's funny. Okay, so tell me a little bit more then about Georgia Roof Advisors, kind of what you guys do, because you're pretty close. In Marietta. Yeah. So you're like only like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
From
depending
here?
on the traffic that day.
Okay. So I'm still, am trying to get a grasp on. I have yet to really get stuck in traffic.
Oh, what?
I know.
What part do you live around here?
No. So I live down on the Beltline.
You don't get stuck in traffic?
Well, so I only come in on Mondays. And
gotcha.
I feel like I come so early.
Okay, yeah.
That I kind of miss it. And then I leave before it gets bad. But other than that, I'm so close to so many things, I never drive my car.
I totally get that. Okay. I may or may not have forgotten the question.
That's okay. The traffic, it derailed us.
Right.
Tell me just a little bit more about
Georgia Roof Advisors. So we are a roofing company based out of Marietta, but we service all over. We usually go about maybe like an hour outside of the perimeter. Okay. We do residential and commercial properties. We put on architectural 3-tab shingles. We do metal roofs. I think that we're actually doing a condo project right now, which has been a lot of fun for me because we're getting like all these drone shots and I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah,
like content.
So much content. But yeah, and we also do insurance claims so we always encourage people, please call a roofer before you call your insurance people, because if you call them, it's literally like if you get a ticket, because if you call them and you make the claim, a lot of companies are moving to insurance companies are moving to a model where they are not going to support, they won't even put roofs on a 20-year-old roof or a 16-year-old. Okay. It has to have the tree falling through. Yeah. And sometimes they only want to do just that part. So it's a lot that goes into it. And our biggest sell is that we'll advocate on your behalf.
Awesome.
We'll talk to the insurance people for you. We've got this really cool thing called company cams. So when we take all those photos on inspections, we know what to say and how to make sure that we get you that insurance claim as best as possible. Yeah. And then we have financing options as well. So we offer a lot. We're actually doing a Win Your Roof campaign, which I'm excited about.
Win Your Roof. I like it.
This year. So it's very easy to enter. You need your roof inspected and you get your roof put on with us, you're entered to win.
Oh, cool.
So we're doing that.
Dang it, I live in an apartment.
Which is really exciting. And I mean, there are some fun things about roofing that I never even realized. I'm telling you, if you would have asked me back in July when I started this job what a shingle was, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's when people like get that rash on their skin. You know, I know exactly what a shingle is. And now I find myself like going around like looking at roofs. I'm looking at these roofs right now all around here. I'm like, okay,
we do have a pretty nice view too. I know, you're like, oh, look at these roofs.
Exactly. I do that all the time now.
That's too funny.
It's so funny.
I love when you get kind of involved in an industry that you knew nothing about, and then you just become this like crazy expert on it.
It's so crazy.
You're just like, did you know this? And yeah, I used to work for a nonprofit organization, and we did a lot with like trade schools. So like all of a sudden I knew so much about like mechanics and like all the just like random different like at trade industries, and I would just like say things to people and they would be like, don't you do marketing? Like how? I'm like, yeah. It was like I learned a lot.
But it's a great company. We won Best of Cobb 2019, 2020, and this year.
Oh, awesome.
I was like, we have to win it this year. The first year that I'm here is not going to be the year that we don't win. It's a great couple, Naomi and James Gasson, that own the company, and they are absolutely amazing. English came over some years ago, I think back in 2015 or 2016. But they are amazing.
Okay, so if anybody wants to enter the Win Your Roof or follow you guys on social media or even just reach out if they have roof damage, I was like, whatever it may be, how can they find you?
You can find us at GA Roof Advisors. That's on Facebook and Instagram, and then LinkedIn. You can just type in Georgia Roof Advisors.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, so to close things out, I want to know your number one best either email marketing tip or social media tip that you could share.
I'll say with social media, and it's funny because I said that's the one that I don't like the most. It's the following. People think that that's the most difficult thing, but it's one of the most easiest things to get. It's a game as well. You have to make sure that you follow people of accounts that are like yours.
Okay.
But it's interesting because in the industry that I'm in, everybody has a roof.
Yeah.
So I actually follow people of all different types of accounts. But you have to follow those people to get them interested in looking at your stuff. Even the people that, like a random person that's, doesn't know that they need a roof. They end up, accepting the request and they follow us, and then what do you know? They see our stuff.
Content at one point, and then they're like, oh wait, hey, I remember seeing this there.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I'm very follow heavy. Like I'm just like, it doesn't cost me anything
at all.
So I'm just like sit there. I'm like, I would love to see all this.
All the time.
That's awesome.
All the time. That's me on my personal account and Georgia Roof Advisors.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, Hilary, it was so nice meeting you. I'm so glad that you could join me today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was fun. I was very nervous, but this was good.
Like I tell people, I'm like, you don't get how intimidating it is with all of the lights and the cameras and these big screens. I mean, I feel so professional. I love it. And we got to have these beautiful views with the warm sun coming in.
Yeah, this was a nice day too. It worked out.
It's warming up. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you guys next Monday.